I'm taking you on a driving tour of the West Wing neighborhood in North Peoria. So stay tuned. We're gonna go check out this neighborhood and get you a good sense of if this might be one of the neighborhoods that you should be checking out when you move to Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so today we are going to be checking out one of my top neighborhoods if you're thinking about moving to Phoenix and you're looking in the Peoria, Arizona city. There's so many suburbs of Phoenix, and Peoria is one of my favorites. It's one of the ones that I work most often. And we're gonna go check out West Wing. Now, if you are thinking about moving to Phoenix, Arizona, I think the number one thing that you need to do is you need to text me. You can reach me at 602-806-8267, but I will be able to help you identify where you might be wanting to look if you're moving to the Phoenix, Arizona area, and where it's gonna be a good fit for your lifestyle. I've got other videos on moving to Phoenix, some of the areas that I think you should check out, and Peoria is one of the top areas, especially if you're looking for a high-end or luxury community, if you're looking for a community with growing population, more amenities coming to it, but also having an active lifestyle. We have lots of hiking. Lake Pleasant is up north, so make sure you send me a text if you are thinking about moving here. I will definitely help you, and let's get to it. By the way, I do have my two kiddos here. We are driving in my minivan, so we're just gonna call this like the minivan mom series. Just straight up real. I am a mom of two littles. I've got my two boys, and we have got snacks to keep them entertained because sometimes these kiddos have to come with. So if you are a parent, you'll probably you'll probably get it, but if you hear some background noise, that may be what it is, but hopefully it's not too much. All right, so I had stopped to get a cup of coffee before we started this tour, and right now we are in one of the Four Corners shopping centers here off of Lake Pleasant and Happy Valley. So this is one of the most nearby places where you'll go shopping and have all the restaurants and whatnot that are in this area. So it's a pretty big development. There's more shops and stores coming, and the really cool thing about Peoria is how much development and businesses are being requested by the residents as North Peoria develops and expands. And so if they don't have what you're looking for as far as restaurants and shops, I will say that there is a lot that is coming to the area, and it's something that is highly desired by the residents, and so it's definitely on its way. I think there's just so much request for it. So I'm going to turn onto Happy Valley right now, and we will enter off of 83rd. Now you could go up Lake Pleasant to West Wing and enter in that way, but that's how we'll finish the tour of West Wing today. And so you'll see the whole thing pretty much. So this is Happy Valley and Lake Pleasant intersection right now, and pretty major intersection here in Peoria. Okay, so as we drive here along Happy Valley is one of it's like the main road in North Peoria that runs east to west, and it's 3 lanes. It is divided, and it goes all the way from the I-17 all the way west to the 303, and so you can have access to both major freeways, and then the 101 is one of the other major freeways in this part of town, and that is just a little bit, a couple miles south. So I would say about 3 to 4 miles, depending on what part of where you are in north of Peoria. And if you're more west, it might be a little bit farther away because the 101 does curve. It goes in a loop and goes down. But one of the things that I love, and you can see it here a little bit, and what we're approaching is all of these mountains. And these mountains and state preserve surround the West Wing neighborhood. And so it is really just gorgeous, and it provides some amazing hikes. The church I go to, Copper Hills, is in West Wing neighborhood actually, and we have been putting on a 4-peak hiking challenge. There's also some running challenges, and so the first year, my husband and I, we were dating at the time, but we did the hiking challenge and hiked the 4 peaks. And one day, one challenge, it was pretty intense, but it was honestly so amazing. Just because the views that you get of the city and just the nature, you know, it's really nice because Phoenix is such a big city that you can have the nature, you can have the hiking and the outdoors still, being up here in North Peoria, that some other areas you don't get as much. Now, I actually think there's a lot of hiking in Peoria, but there's a lot of hiking around the valley in general. I think some areas have more of it than other. Obviously, if you're in the central Phoenix area, there's not as much, but there are some that are closer to Scottsdale and North Phoenix. So there is a pretty decent amount of hiking. So right now we just turned, and that was 83rd and Happy Valley right there. I just turned left, so I'm going north into the West Wing neighborhood. And West Wing has a variety of different homes. We've got some homes that have gated communities, smaller gated communities. We have homes that are backing up to the state preserve on the mountain. Those are luxury properties. Right now, the pricing in here for the homes that are on the market is between the low 500s up to just over 1.1 million. So you've got a pretty good range. If you're looking for a high-end home, you're in the high-end to entry luxury market, that's most of what you're gonna find in this West Wing area. So just know that that's gonna be the price range that you're in. And you know, the land that we're seeing right now, that's, you know, around us as we drive in, there are plans to develop this into more residential properties. There's a community just going east up here when we hit Jomax, that's called Alora Vita. It's a new construction community, and they actually have plans to develop up until we get to these West Wing homes that are on the left here, and then the mountains. Obviously we're not going to develop all of the state land, but there are plans to do that. So here I'm gonna go, this is entering West Wing, so you can see that sign right there, West Wing Mountain. And we've got the first 4-way stop that enters into the neighborhood. And we are going to go check out some of these little subdivisions in here. If you've seen any of my other videos, we've talked a little bit about how we do subdivisions, I think a little bit differently here in Phoenix. Obviously I don't know from experience, but we have Phoenix is such a big city, and we have this big city with all of these other cities surrounding it. You know, you've got Peoria, Glendale, Surprise, Scottsdale, Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert, and then within that is all of these other communities, and those are some of those are master plan communities, some of those are just a couple of rows of streets. And so sometimes even the master plan communities have, you know, that's like this is West Wing, but you'll have all of these smaller subdivisions within West Wing. And so it is just really interesting because it can kind of get confusing. If you're looking in an area, it's easier to search by map or to search by city or zip code than it is to search by subdivision, because that subdivision can be really, really limited in your home search unless you are just so dead set on such a specific subdivision that you would want to just wait, you know, even if that could be years for that perfect property in that subdivision. So Lots of desert landscaping. You'll see if you are thinking about moving to Phoenix, Arizona, you'll see that a lot of our properties look pretty similar. The architecture, you know, there's a lot of stucco. We don't really have siding on most of our houses here. Sometimes you get a house with a nice, you know, stone exterior or partial stone exterior, depending on what options were chose when that house was built. But yes, we have a lot of very similar housing styles, and some people describe it as cookie cutter. I would say that you know, it is very similar, and if you want your house exterior to really stand out, you'd have to go luxury. But so West Wing does have an elementary school within the neighborhood, and I believe that is K through 8. I would have to double check. There's also some schools nearby that are charter schools that are highly desired, and then there's of course private schools. If you're interested in school information for Phoenix AZ area, you know, you can search by cities, you can search by ranking, you can search by specific school. I have a resource that I can send you if that would be helpful as you're planning out trying to move to Phoenix, and I can send that to you easy, no problem, and help you kind of look at schools. I will say that if you are in an area where there's a lot of development going on, you may not necessarily have a good school ranking, because that is going to be a newer area, and so sometimes the newer areas, the schools aren't, you know, it's kind of too early to tell, but usually those areas, if they're being built, you know, if they just haven't been around long enough. So I will say you do have to preface any information you look at with the schools for that, you know, just for the age, but you know, overall it's a good resource. So especially if you have kids and you're looking and you think, you know, oh, I really need to figure out where we're gonna live based on going to a certain school district or being able to be in the zone for a certain charter school, like being close enough that you could commute your kids, then I think that would be important. Yeah. Yeah. We're driving around, we're showing people this neighborhood. Do you like this neighborhood, hon? Yeah, we're gonna go that way. Watch out! Oh yeah, we're not gonna hit the car. Okay. So some of those homes that we just passed by at the end of that cul-de-sac on that little street, those were custom properties backing up to the state preserve. We do have, I think we have 2 or 3 of those that are available, or I mean for sale right now, those were custom built homes and are listed for sale. So one of those I know it's listed at 1.15 million. Really gorgeous backyard with the mountain and desert preserve views. Just I think that's just one thing that you just can't beat, is if you're in somewhere in the Phoenix metro area and you get those really, really gorgeous views. It's just I just think it's great. I think it's kind of hard to beat those views. I think they're just absolutely stunning, especially if you are a fan of nature, but you are living in, you know, this big city, because Phoenix is such a big city. I think it can feel just a little bit quieter. So I think that West Wing is a very active community. I will often see people on family walks and walking their dogs, especially during this time of the year. I'm recording this in November, and right now it's a school day today, so people are at work and it's a school day. It's a weekday and people are at school, people are at work, so you won't see as much of that. But on the weekends, I see a lot of people, you know, out with their families and walking their dogs and running and biking, and I think it's a pretty active community. They've got all the trails, they've got some parks, and they also have you know, just different paths within the subdivisions and everything. So I think that's really, really nice to see in communities. You don't see it in every community, but you definitely see it in this one. So I think that's one of the reasons why I always recommend this area for my clients if they're looking in the West Wing area. I mean, those views, can't do much better, right? Yeah. Oh, I don't see any dump trucks right now, Bubba. Maybe we'll see one. I don't think it's trash day here. So this is Bella Vista, one of the smaller gated communities, it's higher end in there. And they've got a couple of those throughout West Wing. And then we did have a couple of neighborhoods that were smaller subdivisions within here that were built a couple years ago. This is Montebello, another one. I showed a house in there a couple of months ago, and it was pretty awesome. Yeah, so there was some newer construction over here. I will show you that as we're leaving the West Wing area. And I'll also show you guys I'll drive by the park so that you guys can see. We've got the community center. I'm about to drive there and show you guys what that is like. So this is what I think is kind of like the center, the foundation of the community, and that is right across the street here. So I'm going to go across this four-way stop. This is West Wing Parkway and then High Desert Drive, and we've got the church here. This is Copper Hills Church. And then we have the coffee shop that the church opened. And so it can be pretty packed over here. It's been a really good thing for the community, I think. And so this is the church campus. And then they have a craft coffee shop, which craft coffee wasn't really here in Peoria a couple years ago. So there's the coffee shop. And then if you come around the back of the church, this little driveway here connects to the park. And so what you'll see is that we've got a little green belt area over here, the back campus of the church, and then we've got a park. And then this park also is the trailhead for one of the trails. And then if you actually go down that trail right there, you can even connect over to the school. And I'm going to drive by the school right now, show you guys the elementary school over here. And then there's also a little skate park and community center right here by the school. So this is kind of like the community hub, the non-residential part of the community, and where if you were looking to hang out over the weekend or get outside with the family, this would be a really, really great spot. So you see, here's a skate park here on the right, the school, and then they also have some tennis courts right here, and then the community center. I believe this is where they hold the West Wing HOA meetings as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be, but I'm pretty sure. They've got a little park there, and they've got a few of those, like a lot of these smaller subdivisions that are within, you know, the greater community have these little green belt areas or little park areas, playgrounds. So if you have little kids or you like to take your dog out, just nice to have those in the community as well.